now it's out of winter season, a great time to buy your winter clothes for next year. You also want to wait for sales such as Black Friday, any spring sales. Macy's just had a great sale a couple months ago on suits, almost half off. Okay, and to go on with supply and demand, if you can be patient and wait a few months after release, you'll usually get an item for cheaper. So those of you who are into video gaming, and when the PS4 and Xbox One were released, if you wait a few months, you usually got it for a little bit less. And it might have been bundled with 3 or 4 extra video games. Okay? Second, your store selection. The type of store that you're going to buy from, whether it's, say, a store in the mall or an outlet. Okay? A lot of the stores in the mall, you usually are spending more because they have to pay for the location within Menlo Mall or Woodbridge Mall. They have to pay the owners of the building to have a store there. So that's why the prices of goods are usually higher in malls. Whereas if you go to an outlet, there's no middleman. They're not paying any owners to rent that area. Okay, and you usually get goods for less. So you want to look at type of store, and you also want to look, this kind of goes along with type of store, you can say, but if you're going to buy in the store or if you're going to buy online. If you buy online, prices may differ, and online you get a lot more product information. You learn a lot more of the product before you make your decision, which is important. Okay, but with online, and for me, a big disadvantage goes with returns. How hard is it to return an item if you don't like it? Do I have to pay the shipping and handling where I could just drive to, say, one of the malls and just drop it off and return it? Online, that is a disadvantage. So what type of store you're going to go to, and whether you're going to go and buy it in store or buy online. Third one, brand comparison. Looking at name brand versus store brand. And we kind of went into this a couple slides before. This is what your taste test will be off of. You'll be tasting brand name foods and store brand foods and see if you can even tell the difference. Okay, store brand, that also people also call it generic brand. All right, for those of you who work in supermarkets, you want to consider the price and quality. All right, you might get the store brand a lot less cheaper than the name brand, but the quality may or may not also be as high as the name brand. So you want to consider that. And I have that here in the second bullet. And the third bullet, you want to try to shop with a list to avoid impulse buying, which impulse buying probably happens to all of us, purchasing items on the spur of the moment. You want to get away from that, and shopping with a list really helps you, not just going into the mall and just buying everything. Kind of have yourself a little more organized. And on the last end of our slides, 3 more slides to go, our fourth smart buying strategy is label information research. Kind of looking past advertising. And this really goes along with food labels. Alright? Food labels have labels that say low fat or all natural, and yes, they have to meet government criteria to include these labels. Okay? But they may say it's low fat, but it could have very high amount of sugars. Alright? It may say all natural, but still may include some pesticides. Because a lot of the government criteria isn't as high as you would think. When you think all natural, you think of it as pure and it's good for you. Some all natural foods or low fat foods are really not all that good for you depending on the item. So the biggest thing, especially when we're talking about food labels, please read the nutritional information. That's where you'll get past the advertising and really look at what is really in, for example, the food that you're eating. Alright, biggest thing here is getting past that advertising. Also look at expiration date, or what goes along with that, open dating. And that's a method that indicates the freshness or the shelf life of a perishable object such as milk or bread or yogurt or juice. So an example of that would be if it says to use before March 27, 2015, That's an example of open dating. So if you see an item at the store today that says used before May 1st, all right, that is a example of open dating. Okay, so looking at the expiration date, looking at the open dating, usually when dates are near, so say you look at bread that is going to expire in 2 days and not a week, you usually can get it for cheaper, but you also have to know that you're going to be using it before it expires and becomes a hazard. And you also want to look at product efficiency on appliances and kind of reading information if you're looking at wash machines or dryers and looking at the efficiency on those items. This graphic, if you look, okay, there's 10 companies. We have Kraft, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, Kellogg's, Mars, Unilever, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Nestle, and General Mills, the G. Those are 10 companies that basically own almost all and a lot of the companies and brands out there that you see. So if you look at Coca-Cola, you may not have known that they own Monster and Dasani. If you look at PepsiCo, you may not know that PepsiCo owns Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, KFC, Sobe, 7-Up. All right. Procter & Gamble owns Tide, Head & Shoulders, Gillette. Nestle, if you look at the center left, I find this most interesting, and I didn't know this. Nestle, they own Diesel, Ralph Lauren. So pretty cool graphic here to look at. And a lot of brands that you see today, basically these 10 companies kind of control or they own all these different brands. So really cool demographic I wanted to show you, just becoming a more informed consumer. And that's kind of the purpose of this chapter. And last slide, okay, although I know we're on number 5, we're going to get to number 6 with our taste test. We talk about unit pricing, but number 5, warranty evaluation. All right, a warranty being a guarantee from the manufacturer, those who actually make the product, or the distributor who transferred it from the manufacturer to the retailers, that states the conditions in which the product can be returned or repaired. All right, and the types of warranties. There's an implied or it's unwritten warranty that says that the product will do what it's intended to do. If you buy a toaster, it's implied that it will toast the food. If you buy a MP3 player, it's implied that it will play music. So if it doesn't play the music, falls under that implied warranty. Almost all products have a implied warranty. It will do what it's intended to do. All products have that. But there's also an express warranty, a written, and this is usually a written warranty. And there's two main types. There's a full express warranty that says it will fix or replace at no charge, usually during a reasonable time, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months after purchase. And there's a limited express warranty. Remember, this express being written that covers only certain aspects of the good. So maybe it might just cover just the parts. So knowing types of warranties, okay, like I said with my headlights, I had a full express warranty when I signed off to purchase my item. I also agreed to their full express warranty that happened to cover the headlight no matter what happened to it and the shipping and handling for life. And it was a selling point for myself. And knowing that warranty made me purchase a really good product and a good deal. Okay. And lastly, the last warranty is called an extended or also a service contract, which is usually a separate purchase agreement to cover the cost of repairing the item. So for an example, if anyone has an iPhone, tablet, such as the iPad or MacBook Pro, and if you bought the Apple Care, you bought an extended warranty or a service contract. Whereas if you go to Apple now, if anything were to happen, they will replace your phone for free because of the Apple Care, but that was an extended warranty that you personally had to buy. Alright? So I know this video a little bit longer because we have the taste test on Wednesday, but just becoming a smarter consumer, smarter buyer, All right, wanting you to become more of a research-based buying, doing your homework before you just go ahead and make a decision, getting away from brand names, and these 6 smart buying strategies that you can implement now when you go ahead and become a consumer.